The film begins with our protagonist, Mike Howell, finding himself in a hazardous predicament, trapped and handcuffed inside a holding cell. As an interrogation officer enters the room, an enigmatic stranger hides outside, adding to the atmosphere of mystery. In this fascinating story, Mike's mind becomes a canvas for vivid flashbacks, painting a picture of powerful recollections from events yet to occur. Incriminating visuals, such as a bloodied spoon, a frying pan, and a photo of a teddy bear, have been methodically set on the table in recent days as evidence. Mike and his fiancée, Phoebe, had just spent 3 days in Lyman, West Virginia, living a quiet existence. Mike, an enthusiastic stoner, was hopelessly in love with Phoebe and planned a surprise Hawaiian getaway to propose. However, their preparations are derailed when Mike suffers a crippling panic attack, forcing them to miss their departure. Mike, perplexed by his recurring nervousness, apologizes to Phoebe throughout their journey home, and despite her obvious distress, she reassures him. The next day, Michael returns to his boring job as a convenience store clerk, stocking shelves and handling the register, completely unaware of the horrible occurrences taking place around him. Mike spends his leisurely life improving his own comic book, which stars Apollo 8, a monkey astronaut embarking on exciting adventures. During a brief smoke break outside, an unexpected realization occurs. Despite Mike's lack of recollection, the CIA has been quietly watching him as a former participant in the classified Ultra program. Victoria Lassiter sifts through secret files in her office at CIA headquarters before saying her goodbyes to her former aide, Peter Douglas. Unexpectedly, she receives a cryptic phone from a disguised voice, announcing the initiation of the Ultra program, which will target Mike Howell for extermination within 24 hours. Despite his protestations, Agent Lassiter is told not to intervene, leaving her divided between duty and the mysterious forces at work in this growing drama. In a more than brief encounter, Lassiter confronts the elusive agent, Adrian Yates, underlining the importance of protecting their former assets rather than terminating them. Yates responds by designating Mike as a potential threat because of his repeated attempts to flee town, judging it a security violation. Their angry discussion intensifies until Yates abruptly reveals that Howell's death is imminent, dashing Lassiter's hopes of salvaging her previous endeavor in West Virginia. Meanwhile, at a quiet time, Mike and Phoebe share a joint and discuss ideas for Mike's comic book. They park in their usual area and watch a tow truck recover a smashed car that has been entangled with a tree. Mike philosophizes about the car while in his stone form, seeing it as a constantly moving item with limitless possibilities. In a moving moment, Mike recalls the motionless tree that, for the first time, played an important role in halting a car. Overwhelmed, he figuratively equates with the tree, meaning that he sees himself as holding Phoebe back in life. Despite Phoebe's assurances, they return home, and Mike, concealing his true intentions, makes an early work commitment. Mike secretly meets his buddy Rose and purchases fireworks to propose to Phoebe in a spectacular display. Later, Agent Lassiter comes at the convenience shop to warn Mike of an upcoming assassination, casually approaching the cash register with instant noodles and a bottle of milk. She sets off a chain of events that will alter Mike's life. Agent Lassiter communicates in code, informing Mike that Mandelbrot is in motion. Echo Choir has been breached, and they are currently fielding the ball. Mike, perplexed, questions Victoria's well-being. Frustration turns to concern as Mike fails to learn the code that will unleash his hidden skills. Despite multiple tries, Agent Lassiter apologizes and leaves. Mike, left alone, heats the abandoned cup of soup and goes outdoors to eat. He approaches 2 individuals who are tinkering with his car, only to discover that the activation code actually worked. He leaps into action, burning the first assailant's face with hot soup and expertly disarming the second with a spoon. Shaken hurriedly phones Phoebe to explain the problem. When she arrives, they uncover the lifeless bodies, and Mike is in shock, unable to explain the attackers' motives. Before they can make sense of the situation, the local sheriff arrives and arrests them. Meanwhile, Adrian Yates learns of the loss of 2 assets ordered to neutralize Mike, and realizes Lassiter has activated him. Yates orders a local lockdown, and assigns Agents Crane and Laffer to execute Mike and Phoebe at the police station. Inside the jail, the pair recalls the events, and Mike, to his surprise, flawlessly recites the activation code he received at work. Despite Mike's poor recollection, the final 94 minutes are characterized by unusual lucidity. The sheriff relocates them for questioning, but a sudden power failure sets off an alert, causing chaos inside the station. Agent Crane attacks the entryway, opening fire on cops, while Agent Laffer lurks in the shadows, attempting to eliminate Mike. Mike's heightened Ultra Instinct surge is taking his combat skills to new heights. Using his shackles as improvised brass knuckles, he defeats Laffer and imprisons him. Crane simultaneously eliminates the remaining officers and proceeds to execute the sheriff. The power is restored, and security cameras capture Mike and Phoebe making a daring escape. Evading gunshots, they make a reference to Crane's pursuit as she angrily yells out to Mike. In a tense confrontation, Crane forces Mike to wait, while hurling a grenade at him. He quickly catches and returns it, detonating an explosive that destroys the police station. Mike approaches the crippled Crane, ready to deliver a decisive blow. Returning to the business where he parked his car, Mike and Phoebe come to the decision that leaving town is not an option. As they discuss escape plans, an unexpected blast of wind detonates a device concealed by a prior henchman in Mike's vehicle. Panic set in. Meanwhile, Agent Lassiter, attempting to leave town, discovers the lockdown. Mysterious figures wearing hazmat suits reinforce the quarantine. Lassiter contacts Yates, learns about the fake disease epidemic tale, and realizes she is likewise imprisoned. At the burning station, she discovers Crane's lifeless body and contacts Petey, informing him of Yates' plan to box her in. Victoria plans to face Yates by sending Petey coordinates for an airdrop in an open field. She demands guns and files for Yates' assets. Petey reluctantly complies, providing guns and files for Crane and Laffer. Victoria reviews them and discovers Yates' use of patients with asylums in his curriculum. She begs Petey to intercede, but he admits his helplessness to help. Yates threatens him with treason. Meanwhile, Yates sets up a base near a supermarket and assembles sleeper agents, including the surviving Laffer. Yates, on the other hand, urges them to go after Mike in order to exact retribution. With their car destroyed, Mike and Phoebe unintentionally become targets while driving Phoebe's car. Mike and Victoria are being blamed for a typhoid outbreak, according to reports. The paper links them to a contagious disease spread by monkeys and advises everyone to avoid them. Mike tries to elucidate, but Rose remains doubtful and restricts them to his basement. Outside, sleeper agents emit deadly gas through vents. Another agent intrudes, killing Rose and his companions. In the basement, Mike and Phoebe attempt to escape through the ceiling, but an agent forces entry, resulting in a fatal confrontation that Mike narrowly escapes. Phoebe grabs a gas mask and a kettlebell and shoots the agent responsible for spewing hazardous gas. She gets an antidote and injects it into Mike, who begins to lose consciousness. Flashbacks fill his memory, including an interview with the CIA. Mike is startled and moves away from Phoebe. He queries her knowledge of the gas, producing a reluctant acknowledgement. She works for the CIA and has been his handler for 5 years. As Mike deals with the information, he goes deeper, doubting the authenticity of their relationship, leaving Phoebe at a loss for words. Mike, feeling betrayed, hurries to Phoebe's car. Inside, a heated argument takes place. Out of nowhere, a jeep driven by Laffer collides with them. Laffer rescues Phoebe and discloses the orders to keep her alive. He douses the car in gasoline, threatening to do something nasty. Lassiter, distracted, intervenes to liberate Mike before the car explodes. Laffer brings Phoebe to their campsite, where she realizes Yates is in command. Yates mocks her, pointing out her failure to debrief and her decision to date her assignment. The news shocks Phoebe, who realizes her lab rat partner was part of a broader, more hazardous conspiracy. Yates tells Phoebe that Mike will be burned alive and arrests her for insubordination. Lassiter leads Mike to safety and asks whether he recognizes her. Mike, perplexed, demands an explanation. Lassiter claims that they met when he was recruited into the CIA's Wiseman program at the age of 18. The experiment sought to rehabilitate third-time misdemeanor offenders. Mike excelled, but this prompted the CIA to shut it down, deleting his memories. As they speak, a man notices them outdoors. A local informs Yates of Mike's location, forcing Mike and Lassiter to return to his home. Despite the looming peril, Mike chooses a cheerful, stone demise. Yates's order for a drone strike makes Petey uneasy yet obedient. Lassiter patrols as Mike gets high, exposing Phoebe's unshakable faith. Agents swarm, and during the gunfight, Lassiter murders an agent by using a teddy bear as a silencer. Despite Yates's persistence, Petey, distraught, refuses to order the drone strike, unwilling to accept responsibility for Lassiter's death. In a state of panic, he phones Raymond Kruger, the CIA's operations chief, who appears mysterious in the opening scene. Meanwhile, Mike is cornered in the kitchen and notices a frying pan collapsing. Instinctively, he throws it into the air, deflecting a bullet and killing his attacker. Lassiter's phone rings, and Mike takes the call, receiving orders to meet Yates at a nearby store. While on the phone call, Phoebe apologizes. Mike, determined to help Phoebe, storms into the supermarket with the fireworks he had obtained earlier. He reassures Phoebe via the intercom and expresses affection before engaging in a furious struggle with the agents, armed with homemade weapons. Amidst the confusion, Phoebe steals a paperclip. During the confusion, Mike uses a firecracker to create a smoke screen before bulldozing through the remaining agents with a sledgehammer. Yates emerges from the smoke and instructs Laffer to eliminate Mike before fleeing with Phoebe. In a private room, Phoebe describes her plan to incapacitate Yates by using a paperclip, uncuffed herself, and punching him. Lassiter, approaching secretly, nearly strangles Yates with a cable before Kruger steps in, compelling them to accompany him. As Mike and Laffer finish their struggle, Mike, now holding Laffer at gunpoint, sympathizes with the mentally ill guy and spares him. When Mike and Phoebe venture outside to face a SWAT team and armed troopers, he makes an unexpected proposal. The happy moment is brief, as they are both tossed by the officers. Later, Kruger leads Yates and Lassiter into the woods, emphasizing the impending repercussions. Faced with the consequences, Yates blames Lassiter, but Kruger shoots him twice after discovering Yates's unlawful operation. Kruger admits that he told Lassiter anonymously out of respect. Although Mike is about to be executed, Lassiter claims that he is valuable because he has destroyed 17 tough guy assets on his own. The scene shifts to the initial holding cell, and the interrogator addresses Mike as Agent Howell. Mike and Phoebe's romance grows 6 months later in the gorgeous Philippines, culminating in a dramatic crescendo. However, an unexpected twist awaits Mike as he enters an elevator and becomes the target of Mandarin gangsters manipulated by the crafty Victoria. Despite perilous threats, Mike bravely resists, demonstrating inventiveness in a dramatic showdown. Thanks for watching. If you are new, don't forget to subscribe for more of these recaps. Until next time, have a nice day.